Hello everyone, welcome back to another video. My name is Tally and today I'm going to be sharing with you guys my Stephen Kingathon TBR. As many of you guys may know, if you saw my last video, I am a host for the Stephen Kingathon that will take place on October 1st all the way to October 25th, and I am hosting it with Christina, Cynthia, and Dina, and I will have all their links down in the description box so you guys can check out their Instagram and so you guys can check out our Stephen Kingathon Instagram as well. I was gonna say website, but yeah, I'm so excited. I think this weekend I'm just preparing for the Kingathon because I want to make it as fun and as spooky as possible. I cannot believe it's almost October 1st. Today is September 25th and I'm so excited for spooky season. It's one of my favorite months of the year, and since we're in quarantine, I'd as well just read a lot of horror books and watch a lot of scary movies, and what better way than to read Stephen King. Stephen King is one of my favorite characters. Stephen King is one of my favorite authors. I want to talk a little bit about how I got into Stephen King. I remember my sophomore year of college, I took a creative writing class and my professor was obsessed with Stephen King, and one of our books that we had to read was Stephen King's On Writing, and as soon as I finished that book I wanted to devour all his books, and the very first book that I read by Stephen King was It, and I think I got to the middle of It like in 1 year. And this was a time when I didn't really read that much, when I was taking a break from reading. Like I mentioned on previous of my videos, I did start reading when I was very young, and then I stopped maybe in middle school, high school, and back in college is when my reading started again. And one of the authors that inspired me was Stephen King. But right after It, my second book was Mr. Mercedes, the trilogy, but I did the mistake of reading End of Watch first, which is the third book of the trilogy, and I had no idea that it was in an order, and I had no idea that it was a trilogy. So I mean, I already knew what was the ending of the trilogy, but I went ahead and restarted the whole trilogy and I completely fell in love with it. So I have to say my favorite book by Stephen King is Mr. Mercedes. I'm just gonna show you guys the books that I planned for the Stephen Kingathon, and if you haven't signed up, the sign up form will be down below and it is also on our website. And I have received a lot of questions, so one of those questions was if you could do one book for different challenges, and yes, you can do one book for only 2 challenges. So I'm gonna do an example of how I'm doing my TBR so you guys can an idea of how it's gonna be. First day of October, you guys can go on the reading tracker, which will be linked on the down below, and it's on our website as well, and you will put down the book that you're going to be reading for that week or that day and how many pages it has, and then at the end of the day you can jot down how many pages you read of that book, and so we can see your guys' progress and to see if you have read anything. And like I mentioned, there will be prizes for the first person who finishes at least 5 challenges. You don't need to do all of the 12 challenges. You can do at least 5 of them. This is not where you have to read all the challenges. You can choose 5 of the challenges and that would be good. Now let's go ahead and go through the books that I'm going to be reading. One of the challenges that I'm going to be doing is read a King book with blood on the cover. For that one I'm going to be reading Cell by Stephen King. As you guys can see, there is some blood on the phone, and I've seen other covers that have a lot more blood than this one. Some of the trigger warnings from Cell, it has blood, gore, and a lot of violence. It follows a New England artist who is struggling to find his son after a mysterious signal broadcasts over the global cell phone network, which turns the majority of fellow humans into vicious animals. So that gives us an idea that it's going to include lots of gore. I will be doing this one for the challenge of reading a King book with blood on the cover. Second challenge, I'm going to be doing read a King book to movie adaptation. So first read a book and then you can watch the movie. For this one I'm going to be doing Misery. I actually have not watched Misery, but I've heard very good things about it. I know on the King cast they just put Misery as their favorite horror movie. The book was first published in the year 1987. It's based on the relationship of two main characters who are the popular writer Paul Sheldon and his psychotic fan Annie Wilkes. When Paul is seriously injured in a car accident, Annie takes him to her home and he receives treatment, and he realizes that he is a prisoner. So yeah, this is a great book for you guys to read and then watch the movie too. Third challenge that I'm going to be reading is to read a King short story, and for that one I'm going to be reading 1922. This one is 128 pages, and it is not a collection of his short stories, but it is like literally a short story because it only has 122 pages. And I haven't read this one, but I did watch the movie, and the movie was horrifying. One of the reasons why it was horrifying is because I'm going to be doing it for the challenge of my biggest fear. And other than the dark, it's true, I hate the dark. I hate going to get a glass of water in the night because it's dark, and then I get that anxiety that someone's watching me. But yeah, I get really bad anxiety when it gets dark, especially in the night when I'm laying in bed. I have to have a night light. Just kidding. Oh my goodness. I have like a light beside my bed to read, okay? It's not for the dark. Yeah, so another thing that I'm terrified about, and it has become one of my biggest fears, is rats. Just the sight of them just freaks me out, and when I saw them on 1922, it just horrified me so much and terrified me so much. So yeah, I'm gonna be doing it for the challenge of my biggest fear, which is rats, and 1922 has a lot of rats, so wish me luck. Why do I keep going like this? Okay, so yeah, 1922, the year 1922, and Wilfred Drain, he owns 80 acres of farmland in Nebraska with his family for generations. His wife Arlette owns 100 acres of it, and she makes the decision that she wants to sell her part of the land, and her husband is going to be forced to sell his part as well. In order to keep their farm, they commit a gruesome act, and then from there supernatural terrors begin to afflict the father and the son. So you can also do this book for the challenge of reading a supernatural book, because this has supernatural terrors as well. There's topics like betrayal, murder, rats, madness, and it is told from the perspective of Wilfred James years after he committed this gruesome murder. The movie is very spooky. So the next book that I'm going to be doing is The Bazaar of Bad Dreams, and this is for the challenge of reading a King book that takes place in Castle Rock, and also a new King. So a new King meaning published after the year 2010. I know he has a couple of books that he published after the year 2010. Bazaar of Bad Dreams was published the year 2015, and it can also go for the challenge in a short story because it does include a collection of short stories, and some of these stories do take place in Castle Rock, so it fits perfect for that challenge. And the last book that I'll be reading is Pet Sematary, and I'll be doing this for the group book, obviously, and the gore book. So if you're still looking for Pet Sematary online, we will be putting it up very soon, hopefully, so you'll have the free reading and you won't have to purchase it, because I know it can be really expensive to purchase books, and we want to make it as easy and cheap as possible for you guys. You guys won't have to buy the book. So yeah, Pet Sematary will be up on our website very soon if you plan on joining us for the group book. Like we mentioned, we are going to be doing live readings and discussions. The dates are on our website, so you guys can join us those days and you can chat with us. It'll be super fun. I'm going to be doing this for the group book, and I'm also going to be doing it to read a book with blood, guts, and galore. If you plan on reading this one for the group book, you can also do it for the book to movie adaptation. As long as it's one book for 2 challenges, that's totally fine. You can mix it up. And yeah, that's pretty much all. So if you are planning on joining us, make sure to comment down below what you're going to be reading. Hopefully you guys are able to join us. I know there are some people that signed up already, so I'm very excited for you guys to share with us your TBR and just enjoy our reading month of just reading Stephen King and enjoying the spooky season with reading spooky stories and murder and gore and rats and the dark. That is all for today. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I will talk to you guys later. Bye.